Hello, welcome to the weekly brunch. I'm Loon, and today, August 3rd, 2025, we are going to talk about harvest season. Those of you who do a lot of gardening, who follow the farmer's almanac, or who follow the pagan wheel of the year, knows that on Friday, August 1st, we hit Lammas or Lunasad, which is the first harvest of the year. Now, when we talk about harvest, we could mean anything from actual physical gardening, or we could talk about the intentions that we have set out in the beginning of the year. So, we're going to talk about a little bit both. This year, my gardening did not turn out very well, so I have nothing to harvest. And from what I hear from a lot of people, it was a hard gardening season from gardeners, private gardeners that I speak from. For some reason in our gardening zone, it was a pretty rough start to the year. So a lot of things that we put out there that was not resilient enough did not survive. So with this first harvest, there is planting that is being done for the last harvest, which would be around end of October, which is significantly, according to the wheel of the year, Halloween, October 31st. That's actually physical gardening. But since I like to refer to my Vista Within book, let's talk about some spiritual things that we put up. You may intentionally or unintentionally put out some things out there in the beginning of the year that you want to get accomplished by the end of the year. And this is the time that you will start seeing it come to fruition or not. So if you journal, which I have to put out that video. I'm sorry if I haven't yet. It's life. If you haven't started, now is the time to start journaling your items and what you see, what you feel, because that's how we do our self checks. Because we're all about self development here on this particular channel, and everything I touch upon, even the news, is about self development and awareness, whether awareness of your surroundings, awareness in your personal growth, or excuse me, your immediate area. So now is the time to take notes of what you see developing or lack of development in your life right now. This will help you prepare to put things together of what you want to put out there next year. The year is almost over. So, one of the things that you may want to do is your spiritual growth. How do you want to do that? Your trajectory in that, or in your financial health. Right now, there's a lot of things happening on the world stage that's probably putting things in place where financial growth is possible. If you want me to touch more on that or refer you to people who are more knowledgeable in that, I could do that. Um, just because you're not reaping, because this is the season of reaping. Granted, yes, my background is more for fall, but I couldn't find a first harvest background. Maybe I'll look for that. But it is the first harvest. So maybe it's not happening as fast as you can. Patience is a virtue. So maybe right now you are seeing things that needs to be addressed, items that you need to take care of to make sure that you are in alignment and you are in a place where you could grow. It's important to take care of the personal, whether it be spiritual or whether it be financial, whether it be something within your home that you want to fix. It's important to take care of you first and then worry about the world stage and the outside things. Internal will overflow to the external. This is a lesson that most of us do not learn as we go through our spiritual growth. So if you have financial issues that you want to partake in, financial issues that you want to grow on, this is the time to take a look at that. You may be in a place where physically health is important too. It's not just financial health. It's not just your pantry, which we always talk about pantry preparedness. Well, we're going to talk more about pantry preparedness as this channel grows. Or you have to be able to take care of yourself before you could help someone else. You have to have your ego in check, which is something that's a daily basis. It's done on a daily basis, and there is no one else responsible for something like that except you. Maybe this is a realization that you are realizing. Um, Sometimes I look at astronomy, and one of the things you'll hear most people who are pagan or follow the stars or are astronomers is they always complain about Mercury retrograde because it happens so often. Um, Harvest season. I think we just if we're not at the tail end, um, we just went past a Mercury retrograde. Now, most people who complain about Mercury retrograde have trouble facing what they have to face. That's what Mercury retrograde does. It shows you what you need to deal with. It's communication. Most people see it as communication with others and outside sources. I have learned that 9 times out of 10, the communication that is lacking is the communication to you. Your lack of realization of what you need to address, what you need to fix within yourself. Fixing, not fixing, I do apologize. That is the wrong term to use. Adjusting. Adjusting things from within ourselves is usually the most difficult. It's the most challenging because in order to do so, you have to acknowledge it. Once you acknowledge it, it can be resolved. So during this harvest season, the first harvest, when I say first harvest, this is when most of the things, most of people who do gardening, and I have to refer to the gardening part to make it relevant. If you garden, um, especially within this time zone, you have things like tomatoes, you have things like your cucumbers. Peas are earlier in the season; they come pretty quick. Lettuce pretty quick. Kale is resilient, from what I'm told. I'm not a fan of kale, but if you grow kale, it's resilient all year round. But anything that you plant around the January, February time frame, this is the time you're harvesting it. A lot of people are doing a lot of canning this season. This is your canning season. This is the season to build up your pantry, and you're taking care of that. Take that aspect out of it and look at what you were trying to accomplish in the beginning of the year. It I don't like to refer it to this way because I'm not a fan of it, but this is the time that your New Year's resolution, whatever you put out there, and if you've been working towards it, because it is work. That's the thing you got to remember. It is work. You are going through the fertilization process of your soil. You are going through the watering, constant watering, if it doesn't rain constantly, of your fruits, that's the fruits of your labor. Now you're starting to see where you might have misstepped, where it has flourished. And this is one of the things that you're starting to see at this first harvest. I digress. There's 3 harvest seasons. This is the first, and then the second harvest season is actually in Mabon, which is the fall equinox, which falls it moves around. The equinoxes fall moves around, and this is per the wheel of the year as well as the farmer's almanac is within the mm, mid late September timeframe. Um, Mid late October timeframe, and then the last harvest is usually in October, particularly Halloween, what people call Halloween, which is October 31st. You may have a later, depending on the season and depending on where you are, mid November. But here, where I am up in New York, it is October. And October is you're really pushing it. That's when you have your pumpkins already harvest. You're getting everything ready. And if you have a homestead, if you have livestock, then you're looking at culling your livestock and preparing the meats for the winter months. So during this first harvest, you're either harvesting physical food or you're harvesting your intent and the growth that you want in your life. So during this brunch, after this brunch, if you're going to journal, see what's going on around you. See what is prosperous within your life during this first harvest, as well as take note of anything that may have come up in the last couple of weeks that you need to address, habits you need to change, and it helps. I like the harvest time because, and we all should like the harvest time because it brings great joy to your individual self that you have either succeeded in your wish or you have been enlightened in what you need to grow. Now, your health is another thing too. Um, did you put your intent out there to become more healthier? I mean, prosperity is one thing, but prosperity without health is really a mood point. So, this is going to be a short one, a short brunch, and I wish all you guys the most beautiful harvest, if not educational, but most prosperous, whether it be physical or spiritual, on this harvest season. I will see you next week on the next weekly brunch. I will be live with the news hopefully later on today. If not, I will see you on Tuesday with the news. I do apologize if you watch News with Loon. It's been a pretty rough physical time, but it is hopeful. And I've seen me on a personal note what needs to be done to adjust and to be the best person and the best me that I have to be. Um, I'll see you next time. Thank you and have a beautiful Sunday.